Hello everyone, and welcome to the Bracers Guild podcast, where we play through all the Trails games, chapter by chapter. I'm your host, Alex, and joining me along this ride, I forgot that that's what we said, is my fellow co-host, the Riddler. Will you please introduce yourself?
The Riddler. I hate you so much.
Mr. Riddles. He speaks
Riddles.
in tongues, so you have to be wary of what he says.
I speak in threes, so don't remind me's.
Everything he says is actually, what's it called? Like, you speak with timbre 5 or whatever it is, the tempo for poetry.
Timbre?
Like,
I don't. That's called Timber 5?
I have no fucking clue, man.
Okay, I don't know if it's something that you're making up or not.
It's not. It's the 5. You count with your hand, and you do da 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 da, and then it sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, like my dog, he is dead.
Why are we starting off so morbid?
Well, because this is a serious podcast for serious people and a serious game discussing serious topics. Should we just jump into it, or should we start with a game or something? I'll play tic-tac-toe to start the podcast. I choose top left. I'll be X.
Yes, I'll choose middle. Anyways. See, that's where you messed up.
Well, I foresaw that my mess up was a mess up, and I respond with top middle.
I'm cutting this out. Anyways. I have the power over here. We get to, I don't know what the gate's called. Didn't bother writing it down. Chloe sees us off at the gate. It's the waterfall kind of like gate, and she kind of sees us off.
Yeah, the nobleman was when he was going, rah, 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 food.
Food.
Yeah.
And then we'll meet each other at the Queen's birthday, as I feel like we tell everybody at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see you in Grand Seal. We'll see you there.
In particular, she was like, I've been avoiding my past by staying here and living it up with the fucking Dead Parents Brigade. So I'm gonna face my trauma ? I don't fucking know. Everybody seems to know this woman, this thief. And she's like, I'm gonna stop doing all of my education, because obviously education is just a distraction to go to deal with Grincell.
I mean, I get essentially she has their whole thing, and then once Stella and Joshua kind of leave to the underground, Schwartz comes back, and it's kind of like, okay, kid, picking you up. It's time to go.
Yeah,
we're going to Grand Seal. Hop in.
Yep.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
Pulls up the giant fucking airship. Get in, loser.
No,
we're shopping.
It's literally that. I have the
group of fucking trumpeters.
No, they literally said we have the airship parked back out in the back or something like that.
That's awesome. I love the idea of can you imagine you're leaving school, you're saying goodbye to your friends, and your fucking mom comes over with an airship and a field of band members. It's time to go shopping.
God, secondhand embarrassment from that would be awful.
Dude, I would be glowing. I would be fuck yeah, man.
Dying.
That's right. That's my airship. Sit down. Anyway.
During this whole conversation, we learned that Stig was acting as an escort. Okay, Bert. Okay. The
bird was an escort. I swear to God, he's the silver-haired man.
Every time it's nah, it can't be, and it's nah, it's still not there. It's still not there. But you keep putting that idea in my head, and it's
I'm an infectious being. I mean, obviously, that man screams cockatoo if I've ever seen one. I mean, who else appreciates propaganda like a cockatoo?
Okay.
Yeah, dude, cockatoos are like the propagators of state media, state-sponsored media. I mean, the whole kingdom of Liberal must just be swarming with them. But yeah, anyway, so he was the escort, and with wait, okay, never mind. I'm getting distracted. My own logic is like hard to keep up with. And then we go to the cave, the tunnel.
Yeah, we go into the cave, and then we leave Chloe behind.
To fend for herself in the airship. I'm not sure how she'll survive with her 70 servants and mom on the ship, but she'll have to find a way.
I mean, by the end, it's not looking too hot.
Yeah, well, that's because her mother is a terrible failure, so, you know.
Oh, no.
Like, why would you bring a band on an airship? You'd think, like, a militia would be good, but you're like, no, let's get this state-sponsored band. They can man a fucking cannon.
Well, I mean, soldiers are like the ones who do it, you know? Because it's like the whole, like, servitude thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, finally getting to the mine. Where in the tunnel, Estelle learns what play acting is for the first time. It's like, wait, you didn't actually kiss? It was fake?
Yeah.
It's like, why do I feel relieved? It's like, God damn it. Stop this.
Yeah.
Stop this.
And this doesn't end. Later it gets worse.
It gets worse, and then we don't have to talk about it. So, or like after that.
I've written down like explicit notes.
Oh
of
yeah,
everything
no.
about the bath scene. Yeah.
Oh no, I mean after that. I mean.
But yeah, no. Estelle once again slides into incest, just as she does casually. Joshua is none the wiser. I'd like to know what's going on inside Joshua's head during this entire thing. We only ever get to see Estelle.
It's probably just blank.
It's just
it's just noise.
Just a monkey with cymbals.
Ching 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 ching.
Ting 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 ting. No, tell you what, it's the Roman Empire. He's thinking about the Roman Empire.
Oh, you know, Joshua is a history buff, so I wouldn't put past him.
Yep.
As we head through the mine, they run into a little girl who's worried about the lights being off in the mine, and then rushes past. And then it's like, why are you here? It's like, see ya. So it's like, okay, we're concerned.
I love how casual they were too. They're like, oh, like, yeah, hi, little girl. And she's like, I'm going to go and save everyone in this dangerous mine all alone. And they're like, okay.
All right.
And only after are they like, maybe we should go after her.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But she comes out packing with some heat. Pulls out a cannon.
Fucking misses.
And misses somehow. I don't... She misses. Every time she's in a cutscene, she misses. Every time. It's like...
Yeah, she's a stormtrooper. The moment the camera's on her, she
only
can't
in
fucking aim.
cutscenes.
Yeah. Yeah, and she gets ambushed by snakes. Is that right?
It's snake-esque creatures. They're like kind of like hovering around the light, because like the lights are supposed to give away like the monsters, but like since it's off the septium, they love the septium. It's like candy to them.
Yeah,
like electrical candy, I guess.
Like
Pop
fucking
rocks,
semiconductor candy.
Yeah, just pop rocks in your mouth. Like, oh,
you know, they say that you have to. They say semiconductors are built on wafers. I never realized it was like vanilla cookie wafers. But yeah, we killed them, slaughtered them, beat them up, and little girl's like, I'm Tita. I'm gonna explain how semiconductors work, and Estelle it just blanks.
Oh yeah, I love the paragraph, and then Estelle's like, stop, nope. It exposes it to us as we walk outside the mine.
Yeah. It's great too. I've had so many moments of just like, oh, you want to learn about this thing? Sure. Blah 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 blah, and then the other person just their eyes glazing over and their mouth hanging open as they just completely disassociate. So it's like, oh, I already love this girl. She's the best ever.
And we've yet
She
to
does
talk
this
about
all the
her
time too.
Yeah, yet to
Because Estelle like constantly cock blocks me on learning how the electronics of this world works.
well, hey, there's a computer. You can
Yeah.
you can look up information in a computer.
Yeah, and canonically, I forced Estelle to read, so I hope that she fucking learned her lesson.
No, she's just gonna be like, no, you computers, you.
Yeah.
But like, before this combat, Tita becomes a party member. It's your main party member in this chapter. She's got an AoE attack.
And a fucking bazooka. It reminds you she is a child with a custom homemade RPG.
It's great. Her craft action is a smoke bomb. I think it just blinds enemies, if I remember correctly.
It's really good, yeah. But you'd never ever want to use it strictly because her ultimate is her apologizing profusely and then pulling out a Gatling gun.
Yeah, just put a mini gun.
Firing on everyone.
It's great.
There's this child, and she's like, I'm so sorry.
Great.
She's the greatest.
She also's got goggles, so I appreciate that. Best aesthetic out there.
We need more girls with goggles in video games.
I mean, there's a lot in like the PS1 era, like Skies of Arcadia and all that shit.
I definitely know that game. Off by heart, really. Skies of Arcade Land, yeah. Top
Oh
game
man,
for
is
me.
it Arkansas?
Did you
I
say
love that game.
Sea of Arkansas? I like it about as much as I like sports ball and puck stick.
Sports ball. We take Tita. Yes, Tita.
Yep. Tita.
Every time with the names. Anyways, we take Tita back.
We take Titty back.
Every time. I just keep thinking of that. It's like, no, that's not right. It's not right. It's Tita.
Yeah.
My first time I was like, Tita?
Oh no, just a cruel act of nature to call this poor child Tita.
You can go on a side diversion into the Penguin Cave and get absolutely wrecked, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I would. They're great. Just go chill with them for a bit. They do the little dances and they fart on you.
Yeah,
Truly,
and
they are an enemy of all time.
And then they summon even more penguins, and then it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, and then they
get two-shot.
Dude, like seriously, that whole cave is just a choreographed like penguin dance-off, and you just happen to get in the middle of it. Like,
yeah, you don't want to get into their territory. They'll fuck you up.
Look, if Happy Feet has taught us anything in life, it's you don't fucking dance off with a penguin. But we digress.
At the end of the tunnel, it leads into the central factory, which is a huge like factory with multiple different floors, and it's like this is like the most modern, quote unquote, modern building we have seen in this like setting. And it's like, oh yeah, this is just like a regular ass building that you'd find in like the 1900s or something like that.
Except they have something probably the most revolutionary thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh.
Yeah, they have something called what did they call it? Was it an elevator? Is that right?
Oh yeah.
You punch buttons and it's like stairs but automatic.
Well, but the thing is, Estelle is like, oh yeah, there's in the mines, but like, this is not the mines. Well, technically it's the mines, but like, yeah, like they have like different like.
You're
like
with a
shift
miner
outfit.
technically.
Yes, but we're also in like literally the mines of like this path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, But this is the place where all the ornaments get made, which you'll see soon. This is where everything's made here. Literally
Yeah,
everything.
everything. This is just IBM.
IBM,
this
if they
is-
had like a monopoly on every single idea ever to know to existence, all created by one
that's
man.
literally IBM.
But even more, not even like IBM's like with computer. This is like every technology.
No, IBM created fucking everything, dude.
Did
I
IBM
think they
create
literally-
airplanes? Did they create airplanes?
Well, neither did Zeiss. They created fucking hot air
no.
balloons.
This dude. We'll get into this later. But this dude invented fucking everything. They invented airships.
Yeah.
I don't think
It's just
IBM.
like a casual Thursday, dude. Come on.
It sounds like it when you read one of the
For him,
logs.
yes.
But we'll get to him.
Yeah. But yeah, the factory. One thing I want to note before we move on, Zeiss. Fun fact: it's a semiconductor company in real life, and they also use giant factories. So I guess that's what this is a reference to. Zeiss being like the German thingamajig for this. What's interesting to me is it's not Urbonian, because Urbonia seems to be like the home of quote unquote Germany in this world. But apparently not.
I don't know.
And what's also interesting, they don't mine it. Like you kept saying it was a mine. It's not a mine. It's just a tunnel connecting through the mountain. That's it.
Yeah,
it's a
like
storage
a tunnel.
area.
Yeah, but it's a mine-ish area. I guess it's like
Nobody mines there. It's just a route. That's all it is.
Yeah, underground route, but like aesthetically, it's like the mine. So like in my head, it's just a mine.
Mm-hmm. Well, the reason I say that is because what's interesting about it is they create the orbaments. One thing that they said was that part of what they do wasn't necessarily like crafting the orbaments, but using them to create other things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Kinda
they don't
like you-
hand carve it. They're just like, here are the circuits. Okay, now that we have the circuit, let's go and do something with it. Look, I made a blender. And half the power of the city went
Yeah,
out,
it's-
and everybody's
Yeah,
on
like
fire.
literally everything. Like I think even like our clocks, our orbament battle clocks, are built here as well.
The battle clock, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what
Also,
else
a
to
real
call it.
clock.
And
A real clock
actual
exists
clocks.
in the town. Yeah. Which we fuck up, but we'll get there. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Up the elevator.
Up the elevator. Yeah, we essentially split up from Peta, and because she's got somewhere else to go, so it's like, okay, it's time for us to go to the guild. Once we get to the guild, we meet an Eastern woman called Kilika.
She's awesome.
She is great, and
She
this whole
is super cool.
yeah, and the conversation here just kind of boils down to just talk to the factory chief, which is essentially the mayor. Of
Which is a
this
little
town.
concerning, but yep.
Yeah.
Like, this is the quintessential you gotta buy from the company store. kind of a thing
Yeah.
here, but...
They're nice, I guess. So
Yeah.
there's that. Also, there's escalators in town, which is like, what are these moving stairs?
In canonical Estelle fashion, my very first reaction to the escalator was to accidentally go down the up escalator.
Oh no, I immediately tried that, and then I was very disappointed when it did not have any resistance.
Yeah, I was really hoping Joshua would go like, Estelle, what do you... But no. I'm just so used to him butting in and calling me an idiot. I just kind of expected it at this point. There's also vendors outside.
Yeah.
And there is like little towny area. It's like there's like a bunch of houses you can't enter just outside the factory, which is curious to me because I'm not sure what that implies. But yeah, they're never referenced to live there. So
People's homes that you don't want to barge into.
I guess so. But like, could you imagine living in like equivalently next to a factory? That would suck. Like you're attached. No, thank you.
In this this factory is like less like doom and gloom than like most factories, like like factories killing the world. This one's kind of
To be
like
fair, this one's more like research than it is like
it's
development.
yeah, it's like more research. You don't have like the doom and gloom is like the planet's dying because we're doing this.
Right. Oh my god, they haven't discovered climate change yet.
Well, it's going to take them much longer because they don't use fuel for anything, which is like,
That's true.
yeah, they'll definitely help the planet not die. Before meeting with the chief, there's a little dialogue that I'd like to read, where Estelle reaches into a pouch, pause for dramatic effect, then flourishes the introduction note to meet the factory chief, and then Joshua looks stoic and tries to not roll his eyes. I love that.
Yeah, I remember liking that as well.
It's like
Estelle is like the most. I love when, because like you'd see this in a visual medium and you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, that's very Estelle. But when you read it out, there's something about just like the explicitness of it where it's like, oh, that's funny.
it's great. We meet the factory chief Murdoch. Murdoch
Mr.
is
Murdoch.
Mr. Murdoch. It's a great name.
Mr. Murdoch to you. Yeah, he has taken over after Russell was just too old.
Too old. Old bones. It's taken over. And then we ask him about the black orb situation. And then it's like, well, he tells us that kind of like our Professor R that we are looking for might be Professor Russell and might be able to do something about the black orbment. And Joshua is like, I knew it. And I was like, Joshua. Joshua,
What's
come
worse?
on, man. Come on,
What's
man.
worse is the entire fucking world knows this one Professor Russell created absolutely goddamn everything, and nobody once thought for a moment they might be talking about the guy on Orbiments.
I
Yeah, even if
Like,
Joshua's like, my 3,000 IQ, I expected it all along. It's like, it's not, it doesn't take a genius to go like, maybe it's the only scientist who is well known in our fucking country.
yeah, and like Joshua's like the only one who would think to have a clue because in like the initial conversation, Olivia is like out of country, so like why would he know? Charizard is like probably just
She
doesn't
doesn't
know this
strike
stuff.
me as the woman who would pay attention to that kind of thing.
So it's like, Joshua, what are you doing? We could have went here like immediately.
Well, again, we did take on that whole break just because we felt like it. There's really no justification other than let's not do what Dad says is going on because we just don't feel like it. Very teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, we meet Murdoch. One thing I want to note, there's a side quest at this point where you can go and meet up with the nurse. And she's like, I have a collection of cigarettes and they have gone missing. But there's a thing here. My cat, Antoine, on the floor over there. And he just kind of like nods his head. He's like, what's up? If you feed him milk, he will point out who he thinks the suspect is. So you can go and feed him milk by getting milk from like the shop, just like the grocery store down the street. And he'll follow you. And if you do a previous side quest about finding a library book, you can translate what he's saying. And then you wander throughout the facility to try and find the cigarettes that were stolen. And it ends up being found in Murdoch's room by Antoine, who, by the way, when translated, Antoine is the sassiest being to exist. Straight up, like, yeah, oh, of course. Like, you go next to the door and Antoine stops and he's like, oh, this place, it's this. And you're like, okay, and you go in and Murdoch's like, oh, Antoine, how delightful, hello, kitten. And he's just like, you. It's you. And you're like, okay. And all you see is like, yeah, that kind of thing. And then he just completely bypasses the Murdoch and goes straight to his like private quarters, also giving him sass the whole way. When you get back to the nurse, turns out everybody in the factory used to be hardcore smoker, which is neat. Because like smoking was a thing in this world, and it was a thing for this city in particular, and the nurse was the one who banned it, which is neat.
Neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Good old world building. Last chapter, there was like no lore in the side quests.
Oh.
This chapter, there's little notes I have all the way around.
There's so much lore in this chapter. Like even
Yep.
right now, Professor Russell is the one that brought orbital technology to Liberal, and is and he learned all this from his Professor Epstein. Oops.
Yep. He had an island.
No.
And a list, I heard. A very big list. He was a big
he's
fan
Santa?
of CP.
Oh. What do you think Epstein's ultimate would be?
Oh god, I don't even want to. I summon a horde of lollies with chain guns. I don't know, man.
Hooters or something.
He just like hangs himself.
Oh god.
He's like, you're not gonna get away with this, and then like you have like a 5-minute animation of him like grabbing a stool, putting it on the ground, tying a noose, throwing it over like some fucking tree bridge, securing it,
Yikes.
hanging himself, and then kicking the stool out from him, and you just get to see him die for a bit. Just really push it in. I think Epstein, funnily enough, is dead in the world.
No, yet I literally said he's dead. Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, he was the one who created Orbital. He didn't create the Orbital stuff. Like
He had the knowledge. He had like essentially like the theories, and then Russell kind of like took the theories and made it practical.
Yeah, well, that, but also it's kind of like the entire world was very like combustion and mechanical kind of heavy, and then we have kind of seen. And that was like Epstein. Like Epstein kind of created all of that stuff. He was basically a mechanical engineer, and he introduced mechanical engineering. And then Russell kind of introduced electrical engineering, so he made everything analog. So there was a shift from like, you have to walk everywhere, which is something Cassius had to do, and I believe Charizard had to do. I think Charizard did it because of the war, but regardless,
or something or because Cassius did it for like some training thing to like see the world type thing that like Charizard's kind of like keen on to like pass on to the younger generation.
Yeah, but with the introduction of analog, obviously you don't need to do that because you can just take a ship, right? Because Russell
a lot of
figured out
people
that you
in this
can
chapter
make the equivalent of a
like,
nuclear reactor.
Yeah, a lot of people in this chapter is like, oh, you came all the way from Roland? You're going around the entire place? Are you crazy? It's like, why don't you just take a plane?
What's crazy too is every single one of these walkways, not only do they have a military station, which we've already talked about is a little bizarre because it's like, what, are you just not allowed to leave? You need a permit? But regardless, also every single walkway is considered extraordinarily dangerous. So it's like, I wonder if in the lore of this world, like, because I know that we're playing with a video game, so it's like we're just going to see like a representation of it, but imagine if they had more technology at the time to be able to actually showcase how expansive like the world actually is. Do you suppose that we have 5 cities in Liberal simply out of necessity? Like you just couldn't have a bunch of smaller cities everywhere because the wilds just cause so much friction, everybody kind of has to be banded together, like Attack on Titan style?
I guess it's like Liberal's a small kingdom that just has like a lot of like not economical power, but like technological power. So it was, from what I gather, it's
really
very
don't
like
have a lot
small
of academic
state.
knowledge.
Like they don't really have much development, but like ever since like the Orban like revolution, they're kind of like bringing up stuff. Now they can go between cities, so they have like less of a desire to build more cities, I guess.
Yeah,
Just more
interestingly,
to expand.
Interestingly, they kind of have a similar economic history. It sounds like to Japan, where it's like they went through war, and then out of the war, they created an electronics industry, and then the electronics industry was the thing that like let them function at a higher level than just being some backwater third party state. You know what I mean? Which is neat.
Yeah, because like the whole like Ebrodian kind of thing was trying to annex liberal, right? Be part
Yep.
of like their thing.
According to the government. We have not heard it from Urbonia yet, but yes, according to the government, that was the reason the war was fought. But yeah, going back to what I was originally saying, so Epstein created like this mechanical engineering perspective, and then Russell came in and created electronics. And you can see through this computer, there's a computer at the top of the main factory, the central factory in Zeiss, and you use it to try and figure out where a combustion engine is. But you can scan through a bunch of history and technology and all that kind of stuff. Basically, documentation on how the world has progressed electronically. And that computer is actually the very first considered supercomputer. And one of its interesting fascinations is that it has an arithmetic logic unit. In digital processing, your data path, your arithmetic logic unit. Actually, I think your data path includes your arithmetic logic unit, but it's one of the things that allows you to actually have a general purpose computer at a high level. So, what they effectively did was they converted the strict computer that was found in the high school, which is like, I do one function, that's all I do. And they created a general purpose computer in this factory on like the top floor, which is the very first general purpose computer. And they were talking about in the documentation that they're slowly progressing to what is equivalently like the first transistor and arithmetic logic unit and all that stuff. So it seems like we're actually going to witness, or at least we are in the middle of the transition from the analog to the digital domain in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not that'll actually happen, who knows? But it's interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah,
since
sorry.
we're on the topic of that computer, I mean, might as well just talk about like some stuff about it right now, as it's more just relevant right now than later.
Yeah. It doesn't really fit anywhere because you can go to it at any time.
Well, no, it's you get there at a certain point, but yeah, it goes through the whole like 50-year history of like the establishment of like the central factory from like the beginning of like where Epstein first thing is Epstein dies, and then like immediately Russell goes into starts building up this factory, becomes the chief, head of factory chief, and then starts developing all these types of stuff, and eventually leading to like, oh, we're getting airships out there. And then later on, there's a text log which I find interesting is S 1187, the passenger ship, the Turna sinks in Kavlid waters. Crown Prince Judas dies, which is like I was like, oh, this is what they were talking about last chapter when like the Duke was like the next in line. So like this like
Oh.
yeah, so this the son died on this ship on this.
So you're saying is Professor Russell is actually just a rebel against the current reigning government, and he does it
Uh
indirectly through sabotaging his inventions to kill the monarchy.
no,
I see
because
what you're putting down. I 100% agree with you. See, your
no,
opinions and your
no,
distinct
because it's funny.
interpretations of what's going on, I 100% agree with. Yeah.
No, it's funny because my next note is during the 100-Day War, Russell was invented a counterforce airship during the 100-Day War that they still use now. Just just during those like a month period, just invented like just combat ships. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, bro, you can do anything.
Well, I'd imagine if you have the airship already, like they said that they were already in production of a lightweight airship. And then, so it's not that much of a logical step to go from lightweight airship to weapon of mass destruction, surely.
But still, it's like, oh yeah,
Like,
just
most big warships were just trade ships that they altered with more guns instead of cargo
yeah,
back
that's
in the day.
yeah, that's really all the interesting like tidbits from there that I found interesting to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, we are. What the fuck?
We are just coming back to the factory talking to Murdoch.
Yeah. Yep. Basically, Murdoch is like, just like, okay, I'm gonna call you Guy to like show you to where Russell is, and then calls in Tita, and then is like, oh yeah, Russell's my father. I'm Tita Russell.
Grandfather.
Did I say
Yeah.
father?
Yes.
Oops, grandfather. Yep,
Yeah,
grandpa.
no, there's quite the age difference. I think
There's
she's like
quite-
6. And he's like 70 something.
Definitely the age gap there.
Yeah. I found a young little lady when I was 74.
We head
Jesus.
we head over to the house and quote unquote meet Professor Russell.
I have a note. Within 0.3 milliseconds, Professor Russell treats Estelle like an office lady and requires her to fetch coffee.
No, he's in his own rooms doing experiments. Tina's helping him out with data. Joshua lifts some shit, and then still grabs him some coffee. And then she's not happy about this.
I love it too because he literally goes like, "Okay, Tita, you man that part. Joshua, make yourself useful. Go up and grab some data for me and get on in here. Estelle, oh god, I can just looking at you, I know you're dumb. Coffee, black. There better not be anything in it. Can you handle that?"
What an asshole.
Poor Estelle. I love him so much. I'd also like to point out that it's at this point that you took a picture of him and said, "This is you in 40 years."
Not for, I think like 50, I said 50 or 60 years.
I mean, I would love to have a garage where I can just build a bunch of cool stuff, be a thought leader, probably rich, and have a granddaughter help me out the entire time. That'd be sick. But also, like, fuck you.
I love this Russell man.
I also have another note. Tita's a doll. She's amazing, and I love her. I love how they're making fun of Professor Russell as he starts. He's like, "Oh, I'm super interested in this," and Tita's like, "No, we've got guests. You gotta like pay attention." And he's like, "Ah, but look at this," and she's like, "Oh, that is actually kind of neat." And then she also gets sucked in.
ADHD, both of them.
I've had the exact same feeling where it's like, "No, we got to do this thing," and it's like, "Oh, but this is cool." And I'm like, that is pretty okay, maybe a bit, just a little bit. Yeah, once it's done, we eat dinner.
Yeah, we eat some dinner. Time passes, and then we discuss the black orb. Jesus, some time passes, and we start discussing the black orbit. Russell is like, "Ooh, orb. Let me put this in my big machine and do a little scanny scan."
This big black ball needs a machine to scan it.
Ooh, yeah, no. So we start scanning, and then negative energy comes out of it. It's like, whoa, and then a blackout occurs. I was like, oh no, we gotta shut that down.
It turns off all the lights, and we have already established that lights repel monsters only when on. So you have an entire city of lights that just went pew. I was convinced we were gonna like fight a monster.
That makes so.
Like
oh my
one.
god, that just hit me. That makes so much sense. That's that. Wow, that actually
in the
hit
middle
me.
of
I
the
didn't
night,
think
too.
about that. That's cool.
Yeah. And Murdoch comes in after it's fixed, and he's like, "The fuck? I mean, I know this happens. This happens all the time. But come on, man."
I know, it's like, what did you do this time? Because he's like the only person is like, yeah, he would cause out a blackout.
Yeah. The whole city at this point, like, they all reacted like, "Oh my god, what happened?" But like, surely there has to be a couple of them where it's like, God, him again. I'd also like to note that the clock gets turned off during this period. There's a clock in the town, and it's attached to an oscillating orbital, and it's keeping track of the time. And during the blackout, it stops, and then once it's done, it starts again. And so later, when you go into the town, people are talking about that it needs to be repaired and how it's off. And over the course of the quests, they actually do hire an engineer who comes in, starts fixing it, and leaves during the entire process, who you don't have to talk to at all.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so it's not even a side quest. It's just happening in the background that you can just witness over the course of the levels, which I thought was neat.
Yeah, I always like those type of things.
Mm-hmm. Very organic. I also wanted to point out the orbital they were collecting data on is an anti-bio-orbital scanner field thing.
Yeah, some weird thing like that.
Mm-hmm. It prevents orbiments from scanning for biological matter when held, apparently.
Yeah, something like that. Before the scene ends, I when Murdoch comes in and is like, "You did this, didn't you?" Well, it's technically not my fault, but you did this, didn't you? It's like Russell's like, "Ah, nuts, you got me. I'm a little stinker."
Little scamp.
It's just like I like their relationship because it's like because Murdoch is like, yeah, he's lost it essentially, but he still has like that respect because he built this whole foundation there. Next day passes and we wake up determined it's like figure out what this black orbit is doing, what's in it. It's time to rip it open.
And the reason we're ripping it open is because there's no noticeable seals, which is normal for orbiments because normally they're constructed. There's no serial number, which means it wasn't created from the central factory. And it's doing weird phenomena that we want to do. So, yes, we decide, fuck it, we'll break it open. And I'd like to point out, initially, we were like, should we break it? And Professor Russell was like, no, that's preposterous. And then afterwards, he's like, we gotta break it.
I gotta break its news.
This is impossible. And then they bring it to the central factory.
Yeah, and before that, still makes a deranged ass comment towards Tita. It's like, I wish we could bring her back to relent. She could be like a pet. And then it's like, Josh was like, gives the stink eye to Estelle. Is like, you're something.
It's even worse too because she says she can be like our cheerleader. She can cheer us up when we feel down.
It's like, Estelle, why? Why
She's
do you like this?
Like Tita's adorable. Don't get me wrong, but like Jesus Christ, Estelle.
Like it becomes cute later, but like this is like, you need to calm down. You go into a little high there.
I have to call the Fed.
We meet with Russell in the central factory, and he's using a saw, and then it's like once the saw gets close to it, it's like, okay, a defense mechanism, and then just shuts down everything surrounding there. Surprisingly, it's not like everything; it's just only like the small radius. So it's like almost have like self preservation measures against it.
Well, he did say that it's based on the amount of energy that's being sent into the orbital, didn't he?
I don't remember.
Neither do I. Either way, it
only
get
affects
turned off.
Yeah, it only affects the saw, and then we're like, well, how can we break it open? And then Estelle's like, maybe we throw into lava. And then it's like, that's dumb, Estelle. And then Russell's like, that's brilliant. But not in the way that you think.
Yeah.
We're going to use old-fashioned engine and fuel, baby. Most inefficient thing out there. Which is just so... It's so funny. It's
I like
like,
how they all act as though it's like archaic technology that's not been used in 1,000 years too. It's like combustion? What's that?
I mean,
Oh, you see.
it is before their time, like 50 years.
Yeah, but it's still a little weird to think that like nothing uses combustion now. I guess not.
It's
But
all
like,
orbital
because they
energy.
effectively have like electric cars.
Yeah, essentially.
Weird.
And it's not
They're
the
living in the
scammy type of electric
future.
cars like Tesla has.
Or our friend has. That he's currently disassembling. Okay,
Ooh, and
so
this
we
is the
go to
point
get the
where,
engine, and that's
yeah,
when you have to go to the computer.
yeah, computer. So we get the gas and whatnot, and also this bitch also invented the conveyor belt. It's like, what didn't he invent? Bring all the stuff back to Russell and then test it out, and it's like, man, this is really loud. Ree, ree.
Even in the actual game, it's like he's
It's like,
like,
what?
"Don't worry, this will stop. We need more juice." And then they like saw at it for God knows how long. I think literally the solution is this will take a while. Go do
Yes.
something, and then we'll be back.
Yeah, essentially, it gets like a little scratch. It's like, ooh, progress. And then it's like, well, Murdoch comes in, and then it's like, well, pipes busted in like the hot springs resort. It's like, Russell, can you help? And it's like, well, I got this thing. So it's like, ooh, you young people can take on it because Tita
Well,
knows how to do this stuff. But she
technically,
also,
it was Tita's idea.
yeah, it was her idea.
Because she's the best girl and needs to be protected, we decided to go with her too.
Yes, and we protect her. And then
Like the dog she is.
side diversion time because it's a very big side diversion. I don't know if you want to talk about. There's a bunch of side quests and there's like a whole thing.
There is exactly one side quest that is worth talking about. Or two. There are two side quests. So, firstly, in line with what continues to be the case in this game, way in the first chapter, the prologue, Estelle makes a comment about being a sneakerhead for a particular brand of sneakers to the shopkeep. Like, hey, are the newest model in? And he's like, no. She's like, aw. Well, in the central factory, you get to meet that particular factory dude man, researcher extraordinaire. And he has these sneakers. And she gushes so hard about these sneakers, he genuinely gets put off. You have to wear the sneakers, go to 3 locations, and come back. That's it. But I just thought it was funny to include because I love seeing Estelle go absolutely fucking crazy over the stupidest things. Like Joshua, like she becomes so baffled. Joshua has to take over the talk because she's just like, the sneakers. There is also there's a lot of backtracking in this one. There's a side quest where you have to go out on the way to Elmo, and there's a broken down SUV basically, and it's like it's the orbital engine thing has broken, and we're like, Tita, can you repair it? And she's like, these things normally need a specialist, and so you have to defend against 30 rabbits, and Tita gets to explode the rabbits, and then you leave, and he's like, there's a bracer that's with him that's like going
Can
from
you
A
kill
to
the
B.
inbreeds?
Can you kill the inbreds?
It's all. It's like 30 rabbits. It's like
30
that's
rabbits, yeah. They spawned from 2, and for each group, they became more deformed.
oh, that's why they're monsters.
Yeah, they were actually normal rabbits when they started. It's like 100 generations in. But yeah, you have to go back to the factory. But before you do that, there's a man in a fort, and you get a secret side quest where you have to go and talk to. You have to deliver a letter from a soldier to a pink-haired factory worker in the central factory who runs the conveyor belt and the logistics. And he's like, I broke up with my girlfriend because I got moved, but I feel bad about it. So here's a letter where I reconfess my feelings to her. And Estelle's like, this is a terrible idea. You're an idiot. Like, this isn't going to work. And he's like, oh, why not? And she's like, well, you need to do more than this. I know. Buy your girlfriend something. Girls like when you buy things for them. So he's like, oh, but I'm stuck here. Here, you buy it for me. So ultimately, Estelle has to end up buying it, and the gift becomes meaningless. On your way back, if you don't read the letter and you just give it to her, she's just like, oh, neat. Okay, cool. And the quest ends. So you don't even get a resolution. It's just like, here's the letter. Okay, cool. Thanks for giving me the letter. And then you just leave. And you never, ever talk to either of them again. So that's cool.
That is... What a loser.
That is so dumb. And then those are the two I wanted to talk about. Was there one more? No, that was it, yeah.
So we finally go down to the town of Elmo. We're going to Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
And
you walk in and it's like, can you fix Elmo's spa? Elmo's spa is gone now. It smells like rotten eggs.
Oh, no. Well,
it is. When you walk into the town, that's the first thing they say.
Yeah, it's sulfur.
Mm-hmm. And so you split up with Tita.
Yeah, well, you first go to, like, Miss Mao, talk about the pipe problem, and then you leave Tita in the pump shed.
Mm-hmm. Miss Mao is the innkeeper for the town. Mm-hmm. You talk with her, and she's like, oh my god, is that Tita? And she's like, I'm here to help. And then Miss Mao's like, okay. And then you go off to the shed, and you're in there for a bit, and Tita starts fumbling and mumbling. And then as it's getting good, and she's about to explain, Estelle's just like, I'm going to leave you here, bye. He's just cock-blocking me again.
See you later. Goodbye, expositing.
Yeah. I think Joshua even says something along the lines of, like, you got to tell me about this later or something. And I can't help but feel jealous for this bastard. So you go back to the inn, and then
commotion. Like, commotion appears. It's like some lady from Great Seal just left and went outside.
Some dumbass tourist, never before seen levels of idiocy, cannot believe this person left. I don't think I've met a single person this dumb. And when you leave, lo and behold, who is it, Brandon?
It's the one and only Dorothea.
The fucking camera woman.
Yep.
Chapter 2.
Getting jumped by a bunch of wolves. The same wolves that were at the gate in the previous chapter.
Yep. Because instead of following the path, she went and buggered off to some random ass part of the fucking map. And there are so many dogs, and they're surprisingly hard to kill.
Yeah,
this is a really hard fight.
This is a hard fight, especially because of Dorothea, because she gets two shot, and you can't do anything about it, so you just gotta kill them fast.
Yep, and they take more than one hit to kill. So there's like 6 dogs, and they randomly choose to attack Dorothy. Mm-hmm. I had many an instance of the fight lose because 2 of them went straight for her instantly. You literally can't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Best thing you can do is like Hell's Gate and like all those AoE things, and then just pray that like.
I recommend giving the rock thing to her.
Yeah, I didn't learn about the rock thing till later for the other obnoxious boss.
Yeah. And then you save her, and she's like, "Oh my god, it's you guys!" And Estelle loses her shit.
Oh yeah, no, she has so many great lines. I'm really just aggravated at your utter obliviousness, which is great. And it's like, we period are period going period now period.
In caps, I believe, as well.
No, not caps.
Oh, is this when she was like smiling?
Yeah, no, this is when she was smiling. It gives the energy of caps.
Yeah, it's great. Dorothy's like, why? So dumb.
I have no idea. I don't remember the reason why she went out there. She just did. I think it was. It was taking pictures. Taking pictures of something.
Mm-hmm. She came here for her own, like, personal scoop. And this is what she gets up to in her time.
You know,
Fucking
getting mauled by wolves.
Moron. I want to see the puppies. She runs off to a bunch of open-mouthed wolves. Yeah, we send her back. And then you go back into the inn, back into Mrs. Mao. And before you even like get all the way there, Dorothy's like, well, that was tough. Man, I really worked up a sweat being in the middle of Saved. I'm going to go to the hot tub. Just dumb.
And then we get Tita and it's like, did you fix it? Yep. Cool. Okay. And then it's like, oh, we're going to leave. No. And then Mrs. Mao's like, oh, no, stay for the hot springs. It's great. And it's like, internally me, it's like, God damn it. I knew, as soon as like hot springs, it's like, we're going to have a fucking scene, aren't we? And it's
yeah, we're going to have an incest scene. It's about to happen. You'd like feel it in your toes and in your heart.
Yeah. But before we go,
what's great about this, by the way, I have so many notes about just my thoughts regarding where Joshua is in all of this, because we only see Estelle's perspective, and like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, Joshua's a fucking Chad, dude. But sorry, you sounded like you had something to say.
but before we go through the scene, we make dinner plans with Dorothea after the thing that we never hold up, and then later we get like, man, these guys are taking a while. And then
she has like 18 different fucking equivalently chocolate milks just in front of her.
It's great. It's great setup and payoff. Poor Dorothea.
It's really good.
And we get to the thing.
Mm-hmm. So it's important to state the structure of the hot tub. It's in such a manner that you have 2 private rooms, one for each gender, and 1 unisex room, which is the much bigger one.
Mm-hmm. That's outdoors.
We start with, well, I started with trying to enter the boys' washroom, which Joshua reminded me I am a girl in the game.
I just went like, ooh,
Twitch Estelle said, oh, whoops. I was like, we'll deposit Joshua off first, and then we'll go to my room. But like, nope, Joshua chastised me. And then you go into the thing, and Tita, oh boy.
She asks if Josh and Estelle are married, and it's like, in this context, it's cute, but it's also so annoying because every single character is like, oh, you're together? And like this instance, it's like cute, but also it's just so...
Estelle opens her fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Because it's like the total innocence of a little kid going like, are you married? And it's like, aw, no, sweetie. No, we're not. But Estelle is like, oh, Kaku! Like, she's like, oh, my heart. Oh, why am I feeling such strange feelings?
Yeah,
so dumb.
Estelle goes through the fucking ringer.
Yeah, she gets all flustered, and like you get flashbacks of like the way you've traveled with him up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, she gets flustered. She leaves.
Yeah, and it's like bad thoughts. I need some fresh air. And then who else is
and fucking
there?
The greatest scene ever, because fucking Estelle goes out there and she's like, oh, I need to get my like head in the game. There's another bath. Okay, I'm gonna just go there. And, like, in my head, Joshua's, like, leaning. Just, like, suave as fuck. He's in the unisex tub. Why he's there is beyond me. He doesn't have a Tita pestering me. So my internal thoughts are, like, did he start going to the unisex? He's like, I'm gonna go to the big tub outside. And then you go out there, and Estelle, like, baffled, watches him as he's revealed by the fog, and the dude just starts chatting her up. Like nothing's wrong.
It's like, hey.
She's sitting there slack-jawed, and he's like, hey, so what's up? How are things going?
Yeah, literally he's just like, what's up? And then Estelle has a mental breakdown and screams.
She screams so loudly that Mrs. Mao comes in assuming somebody sexually assaulted her. And then I like that Mrs. Mao says something along the lines of this, but she says something like, "Your siblings anyway. Why did you freak out that bad?" And then buggers off. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah, why, Estelle?
like fucking. I've had to change in the same room as my sister. It's not that weird. It's just your sibling. You're covered up with a towel. Like, it's a completely different thing. It's like seeing your mom naked. It's a little weird, but whatever.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. It's not something you want to see, but like you can handle it.
Yeah. I think it's just like all the external factors is because every person that Stella's met is just like keeps pushing this idea into her head. That's like it's almost not even her idea anymore. It's just like the expectations of other people.
And it's like been building. I'm still not sure if Joshua actually feels that way. I think it's hinted at the start that he rejects a bunch of girls specifically because he wants to be with Estelle, which I think is still weird. Especially by the end of this.
I still don't think it's like that.
I hope it's not like that. But by the end of this, if it is like that, it gets even weirder.
But I think the one thing I like about this scene is at the very end is where like Estelle and Joshua like kind of like take Tita in almost in a way.
Yeah.
Because
Tita's like, I've never had a sibling.
Sibling or kind of like parents. So it's like, you'll be our little sister. It's like, that's cute. It starts cute, is weird throughout the middle, and then ends cute.
Yeah, except when you think about the idea that if Estelle is attempting an incestuous relationship with Joshua, then you have another sibling in the mix. So it's now like brother and sister are also together and I'm separate sister, and
yeah, we don't pursue this line thinking.
No, I don't like it. I prefer them stay just like fake siblings.
I hope the second game just crushes this plot line in the ground.
It really is the worst part of the game so far. It's just Estelle grappling with incest.
It is. I feel like it ruins otherwise like pretty great scenes. Where it's like, okay, we gotta deal with this again.
Like, if you want to have like a relationship forming in the game, why not Joshua with one of the 7 million women who have fallen for him? Why has it gotta be his sister? Like fucking Charizard even.
They're traveling together.
Yeah, so incest naturally formulates in
I feel like the plot line itself is not bad. It's just every single character brings it up. And it's like, why? It just gets exhausting at a certain point.
You literally just have to roll your eyes and move on.
The next morning, the gang plus Dorothea go back to Zeiss and run into an Eastern man. And it's like, he asks us directions for the hot springs. It's like, oh yeah, go down there. And it's like,
he is like neat. 9 feet tall.
He's 9 feet tall, has a portrait. So it's like, he's important. See ya, though.
Tall plus portrait equals important, as we all know.
Literally, also Eastern man. And then I don't know if they're like, I don't know if they profile him as like, oh yeah, it's like Kilika. And it's like,
he also agrees, by the way.
Later on this, yes. Yeah. But it's just the initial meeting. It's like,
what I find interesting is he reminds me more of like a Ruski, like a stereotypical Russian man. But Kilika is more German. Like a stereotypical Chinese woman.
It's like looks German. Yeah.
To me, he looks Russian because he is just a giant bear, and they refer to him as a bear. So I'm like, bear equals Russian. Yes. Maybe I'm a racist. I don't know.
That's a different stereotype, I guess.
What, being racist? I'd imagine it is, yeah.
Not bad.
But anyway, yeah. He's cool. I like him. When we were playing the game, I was voice acting very lazily. and I gave him the exact same voice that the in-game voice actor gave him. So he is very much so a walking stereotype that you can see from a million miles. He doesn't really
big,
actually have
strong
much
guy.
of a personality. Yeah, he doesn't really have that much of a personality because of it.
I mean, we barely get any time with him. We get like one segment with him, and then he just immediately leaves.
Yeah,
So we don't even know,
and the
like,
segment is glorious.
segment something.
I liked it.
I liked it.
But
But
yeah, he leaves.
yeah, he leaves. We go back in town, and then we hear a scream from the central factory. It's like, and it's getting
A really
attacked with smoke
high-pitched, girly scream.
and smoke everywhere. It's like, oh god, everybody's outside but Russell. It's like, oh boy, we need to go in and figure this out. So we go like in and then kind of like stop the smoke and go to his workshop where we notice like,
I'd like
oh yeah,
I'd like to pause quick. There, as we're entering, Tita is there, and she's like, "I want to go too," and we're like, "Okay." And then Dorothy's like, "I want to go too," and we're like, "Fuck no!"
oh yeah, I
Stay.
forgot about that. That's so great. Dorothea, you're useless. Goodbye.
Aww.
Oh, she becomes very important later, though, for
Yes.
2 different reasons.
Yeah, I didn't even realize until reflection. She kicks off an entire plot line.
Oh yes, like 2, like 2 different ones. Literally, just causes like fucking like like an insurrection accidentally.
She does, doesn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
She causes the collapse of society with her 2 pictures.
No, with the one picture specifically. The other picture helps
no, 'cause-
society.
Well, I don't know.
Well, we
Antoine's
figure
in
out
the
the
military
lead.
facility. I don't know if that's
Well,
a good thing
we
for
figure
society.
out the stuff that's going on, but you know,
Either way, we go into the factory.
Yeah.
Back to where you were.
back to the factory and then get rid of the smoke stuff, and then we go to the workshop and the gear's still on because it's like "Rah, rah," and it's like, well, we don't know where he is, and then guess who's here? Guess who's here? It's
Is it an angry, high pitched, screamy, fucking loudmouth who slaps children, red haired asshole?
yes,
is it him?
that's the one. That's the one. It's a
Oh
gate.
my god! Could it possibly be Agate?
Agate, not agate. Agate.
A gate. It's a gate, a singular gate.
It's a singular gate.
You like turn around and it's just like, tunk.
No, it's just like one of those like saloon bar gates. It's like,
Yeah, it's literally. That's it. It's like the Roadrunner came through.
he's not happy that we brought a kid with us.
Nope.
Not bringing any points. I agree with him to a certain extent. It's like,
Until you notice she has both a Gatling gun and I was about to call it a rotten launcher. What the fuck is it called? Rocket launcher.
yeah. But he doesn't know this, and then is still like no citizens. We get out, and it's like, oh shit, it's the Black Robes, and they got Russell, and they escape through the elevator, and then it's like, damn it, we gotta use the stairs, and then okay, so like their immediate thought is like not even to like split up to like one search downstairs and then like 2 like search by like the door, so they don't really have like any ways to escape. They immediately let's go down. And it's like, oh, they didn't go this way, so they went outside. Which I guess makes sense because there's a lot of people out there, but also like who's gonna stop them in this instance? You know?
Yeah. I mean, if they went straight to like the storage area in the tunnel underneath and then buggered off that way, they would have been home free. But then
Yeah,
they
true.
also wouldn't have started what they started. So
Yeah.
I think they needed to go through the
Yeah,
front, so
I
it's more
think
so
they
luck.
Yeah, it's more just like the thought of our characters, like, ooh,
Because I mean, they have an airship. They could have just left through the ceiling if they wanted to.
I don't know if this has like a landing roof, or not landing roof, but like a roof.
No, it does. It has a helicopter pad.
Oh, it does. Oh,
Yeah, it has a straight up helicopter
Well,
pad.
I think they didn't want to be like obvious.
No, they explicitly wanted to do, because in the
Well,
okay,
like
we might as
no.
well say this instead of dance around it. In the elevator, they change into Royal Guardsmen uniforms, and then they walk out the front door. What they wanted to do was start a coup, and we'll
Yes.
explain why later. But if they just left through an airship, then one, they would have instantly known who was involved, which we're not going to talk about yet, and two, uh, they wouldn't have started the coup. So they would have done the opposite of what they wanted to do. And if they left through the floor, like through the tunnel,
Oh yeah.
they only have one way to leave, realistically, which has militia on the other end, so they could just call it up, right? And even if they did leave in that direction and managed to get through, they wouldn't have accomplished their task anyway. Now, we didn't know that they had to accomplish their task, so it's a little bit of plot armor. But I guess it's acceptable, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's just I'm just like, you don't like post two people out like of like two different elevators of like the two different exits because they know they're going down. They're not going up, so they wouldn't even check the roof pad. So I find it strange, but then they could also like move around and whatnot. But anyways, semantics. We go out and
I also
then,
like to point out they shove Russell into a black bag.
yes.
This poor old man.
Yeah, because since they it's like Dorothea took a picture of them and it's like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of people that came out. And it's like,
I don't even think she knew what they were. She was just like, there's a bunch of guys in cool uniforms.
it was like, this could be a neat scoop. And then this later became evidence.
Yeah, this became one of the most important things to ever happen in this kingdom. And it was entrusted in the hands of Dorothy. Whoever hired her should get fired.
Well,
Indirectly caused a revolution.
sorry, Niall.
It wasn't Niall.
It wasn't Niall,
He
but
does not like her. Yeah, and then we chase after them.
we don't. We actually after this whole incident. Nope. After this whole incident, we go to Murdoch's office, and then Captain, what's it, Ameliath, the girl with Richard, purple hair, comes in, and essentially tries to like shut down the bracers to pursuing these people. It's like, let the army handle this. And it's like, and then it's like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
the captain.
Dorothea, give me the photo because this is evidence, and then we need this because it's specifically
It's technically illegal for you to have on until it's been released to the public.
yes,
And Dorothy's like, do I have to? And the captain's like, yes. And she's like, oh, okay.
and it's
Here you go.
specifically the Royal Guard's outfit and not the Royal Army's outfit. That's the specific like thing of
I
why
was just
it's
told
like
the Royal Militia.
yeah, essentially the Royal Guardsmen. And then it's like, okay, we go back to the guild, and then I forgot Alaba's here, and it's like, what are you doing here, bud? And it's like, oh yeah, I just saw a bunch of Royal Guardsmen by like the tower in this region. I was like, oh shit, that's great. We're gonna go there immediately.
And Tita's like, I want to come. And Agat's like, no, civilian, bad.
And then
She's like, aw.
and then,
And then
Joshua
she's like, but Estelle, Joshua, can't we? And Joshua's like, well, no. Because I think Estelle's like, oh, can't we? And
Yeah.
Joshua's like, I kind of agree with Agat.
yeah, and then it's like Tita runs off crying. It's like, well,
My first thought was, this isn't going to become a plot point later at all.
yeah. So we get to the tower, and then it's like, oh, it's the wolf things, and it's like, okay, this is clearly a pattern of like, just like, oh, these wolf things are guarding this entrance. Definitely has something to do with the Black Robes organization.
I mean, Agat explicitly spells it out for Estelle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Estelle's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, clearly.
Well, clearly
They're trained. Yeah. which implies that the monsters within the tower are also trained, which is curious to me. Because
No, I think
how?
they only have guard dogs out there. As we like, when we get to the top of the tower, they only like, what, the guard dogs didn't do their job. And it's essentially that. Also, neat. I don't know if we knew this or not from previous chapter, but like, Agate says that like the whole black robe chasing thing was assigned to him by Cassius, who
Yep.
who quote unquote says, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be an easy job for you," because Cassius is built different.
Cassie's like, I could do this in my sleep. Here you go. And then Agate spends the next 2 years of his life on this fucking thing.
And then we go through the tower, and then we find the black robes at the top, and we beat them down. We drive them to the corner, and then it's like, oh, also Russell's like with them, so it's like, okay, we found you. You're in a corner, and then they try to like, we'll kill this old man. It's like, no, you won't, because you took him for a reason.
Mm-hmm. And explicitly, they're like, okay, Estelle, I'm gonna have like a brother moment with you, says Agate. And she's like, okay. And he's like, okay, when that dude turns, shows any weakness, get him. And she's like, got it. And they're just about to do it. Like, he turns to leave.
Yeah, one important thing is like drive them back in a corner. Then the airship, then their airship comes to back them up, and then this whole thing happens.
Yeah, and they're about to leave, and they're like on the verge, and then all of a sudden a little girl screams from across the corner, fucking let go of him, and shoots a rocket at the fucking helicopter that the professor is on.
Currently,
to which they respond with firing a bullet that is laced with a neurotoxin at a child.
Yeah, it's great. Agate takes
and the fucking armsmen are actually like, dude, what did you just fucking do? And he's like, I panicked.
I'm gonna kill this little girl.
I'm gonna shoot her with a neurotoxin. Like, this is just what has to happen.
It's so much funnier when you know who the Black Rosemen are. It's like, bro, you're just committing a war crime.
Genuinely.
It's like,
I just love this a neurotoxin because it sounds so intricate and like manufactured in high tech, and it's on a child. Like, they'd probably die from the bullet. Nonetheless, the terrible virus.
I don't know if it was like a tranquilizer. No, it was straight up a bullet because Agate, I think, bled.
Yeah, Agate was shot by it, but I don't think bullets in the game are actual bullets. I think they're like energy things.
It's closest thing to like the guns.
Yeah.
But yeah, Agate takes the bullet for her, and then they get away. Tia starts crying, and then Agate just slaps. It's like,
Agate fucking slaps the shit out of this child.
I mean, slightly deserved. He did take a bullet for her.
And then she thanks him.
Yes. It's like, okay. I've got my shit together.
This is an okay thing? Yeah, she's like, yes, okay, thank you. I will now forever respect you more because you slapped the shit out of me.
I think it's less the slap and more just like I forget what he says specifically, but like there's a certain thing that
like,
gets...
you want your professor back, right? She's like, yeah. He's like, then you gotta toughen up. You gotta act like, you're capable. You can't go and do this kind of shit. You can't lose your top. You gotta be more of a professional about this kind of thing. She's like, okay. That's roughly it.
Yeah.
You just like, get your act together, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But she seems like genuinely thankful for him, because like he gets like that like initial like, you're an idiot, but here, if you're here, toughen up, get here. This is serious business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they leave the tower. It's bullshit. I got stuck here for 20 minutes trying to figure out.
Because they don't teleport you out. You have to walk.
You have to walk, and if you go the wrong direction, you'll get stuck into an infinite loop if you don't go out the right way. It's great.
It just sounds like a skill issue to me, but...
It feels like it. It's like, oh, yeah, everybody got out easily accept me, even though it's like, okay, I'm trapped. I'm trapped in this tower. Help me.
Brandon's like, the walls are closing in. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh look, it's the bird again. Bye, bird. Anyway, down I go.
Oh, it
Oh, it's the
sucks.
little
It
fluffy
sucks
guys.
too
I'll
because
ignore
like
them.
there's so many monsters here. So,
Mm-hmm.
just so many little things like.
My next two notes are so funny. I really can't wait till we get there.
We'll get there. We outside the gate we bump into the Easter Man again, and then
Yep.
then he stares at the gate. He's like, "Is your friend doing okay?" And then like the gate has like the "I'm locked in" stare, but like he's not locked in. He's locked into dying. I guess.
Yeah, he's just locked into the void.
It's like,
The
and
East,
then he
it's
collapses.
funny too because everybody's walking along and they're all chatting, and then the Easter's man's like, "Are you okay?" And everybody's like, "What do you mean? Is he? Oh my god, are you okay?"
Yeah, and he just like collapses, and it's like, oh god, and it's like, he got poisoned. It's like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
You done got GLaDOsed.
Yes. We finally learn this man's name is Zin, and he's from the Cavild Republic Guild. Takes Agate to the hospital. I just realized Cavild is a different country. I thought it was like a lake. So that means like the prince died over foreign waters. So that's fun. That's a fun idea to put out there.
Yeah, we're killing them next. Once the coup is over, liberals going after them next.
So I'm gonna truncate all like these events because it's kind of like essentially we need to save a get, and we do a bunch of series events to like find
I think
Find
at
an
one point we
antidote.
literally go from the hospital to the Bracers Guild to the hospital to the
It's-
Bracers Guild, literally just to say Joshua summed up the blah 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 to blah 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 twice.
Yeah, basically the thing is Tita and Zin joins us to go to the limestone cave to get the antidote for Gate, and it's like that's
Now-
basically it unless you have like anything like interesting to say here. Oh yeah, I think that isn't there also a side quest here or something like that, which is funny.
Yes, there's a bunch of side quests that you can do.
That's so funny. It's like this man's dying. Okay, it's side quest.
Better
time.
go save the people. Yeah. Okay, so I want you to step into the shoes. I want you to play on a roll real quick, okay?
Okay.
So put on your hat, like get into character, right? You're Niall, right? You're seeing the events happen.
I'm a chain
in front of
smoker.
you.
Yes.
You're a chain smoker. You're 21 years old, and you look like you're a 40. You're a fucking mess. You're an alcoholic.
God, the more you
You're
think
worried
about
about something
Niall,
called a scoop, but you just can't.
the more you think about Niall, the more just depressed you get.
I fucking love how much of a mess Niall is. um, okay, you witness these adventures and the events that are about to unfold. You have a headline, okay? This is the headline that's going to get everybody in. Giant man from Eastern Kingdom helps children beat mentally retarded penguin. Fails to kill. That's the note that I wrote for this.
I thought that was gonna be like a headline that was in game. It's like, wow.
That is the headline. Yeah, that's the headline. Giant man from Eastern Kingdom helps children beat mentally penguin. That's how you capture
I'm
the
definitely gonna
news.
have to censor that, but you know.
Oh, 100%. But that's so funny.
I thought this was like an in-game like news item, like the
No,
liberal news.
this is my terrible note taking. That's what I wrote.
Yeah.
I have something wrong with me.
We find like the thing that we need, the ingredient we need for it, and then we get ambushed by the biggest penguin, and he's bullshit.
The largest man in charge. And he takes like a solid 2 hours to kill because he'll just heal up all the damage that you take.
Yeah. And this is a good time to say that Zin is now in your party for like this one segment. He has
and
a bunch of
spells are terrible. Like they're completely useless.
like most of like his crafts are like just kind of like to boost like either strength or defense. I like that type of stuff, like just kind of like stat increases, which is nice. So you don't have to like equip like certain like arts for it, but like it's also like you're never gonna use these.
Yeah, he strikes me as like a you punch, and then when you're done punching, you do your special to punch some more, and that's it. Like he's very one note.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about like the orbital charts or clocks for Tita and like Zin. I think Tita's is like a weird thing that it's just not great. This is also when I learned that Tita is like the worst party member when you don't like have any levels. It's because she's like so weak. She has like zero, like less than 400 health,
Yeah,
and
she
she's
always starts with
gone.
2 levels less than you.
Yeah, and she's like gone for most of like the place where you do the most of the combat in the thing. Besides this one like section, so if you like mainline it, it's like Tita's useless. But
In
Zin,
mine, however, she was the best party member because she did the most amount of damage in AoE, and as part of her ability, blinded everybody. With like a ridiculous AoE. She would do like 300 damage to 7 dancing penguins. I love this area.
it
It's
is
just
a pretty
happy
fun.
feet.
Just a bunch of happy penguins.
Just so happy, and you're just slaughtering them with the bazooka. Then you meet the biggest, happiest penguin, and you beat the ever-living shit out of him.
I barely
And
won
then
this
he
fight.
leaves.
Yeah,
Because he's still alive. You never kill him. You just beat him up enough where he's like, I'm bored. He fucking dances away.
do.
I love this area.
This is when learned that I don't know if previous podcasts or off podcasts you mentioned this to me where it's like, oh yeah, this will give you a free hit. Oh boy, is it useful, especially in this fight. You keep getting like hit over and over again. And it's like free hit because Tita would go down in like one shot to the big guy, almost. So it was like great, and I barely won the fight because I just kept running out of EP because like I kept just spamming arts and arts over again, but could never like damage him enough until like last part I remember was in, and then I was like I finally got him, and it's like, God. I looked up a thing and got like a slight spoiler, but then that got immediately resolved because it was just a name of like, oh, if you think this is bullshit, just wait. And it's like, oh, great. Can't wait for that one coming up. But yeah, yeah, I got distracted, but the orbital clocks, Tita's one is like a weird like DNA strand looking thing. I can't really remember. And then Zin's is like completely blanked out because like I barely used him.
Yeah, I didn't even look. I just remember giving Tita a bunch of fire stuff, and it worked out fine.
Yeah, because Zin just starts off with a bunch of Earth stuff, and then it's like, okay, I'm not gonna touch this.
And you shouldn't, because you get him for about an hour, and then he's off.
Yeah, and
You
it's
go
not
back
even
to
like
the Bracers Guild after all this, and it's just like, we got the ingredient we need.
Yeah.
By the way, we failed to mention, the way that we treat a neurotoxin is we go to a priest.
yeah, and then it's like here's the moss or whatever for the antidote, and then it's like here's the syringe. Time to
And he even says, he's like, oh, this is gonna be hell. And the Eastern man's like, haha, sounds like my place. And he's like, yeah, it is. We're treating a neurotoxin with a known shitty cure because why not? And it's a priest who's doing all this. Like, what?
This whole section's weird.
It's bizarre. Like, the priests are like techno priests from fucking Warhammer. Like, they're not normal. But sorry, continue.
Yeah. We give the antidote to him, and then he yells, and then it's like, yeah, he's fine now. and then Tita watches over him in the night, and as she assists him, he calls her Miska, which Misha, Yeah, Misha, which kind of recontextualizes some stuff of how he's been treating Tita, and like later on once we get to that conversation. But literally the next thing after that, it's like Zin pieces out. It's like, yeah, see ya. Maybe we'll meet on the Queen's birthday. It's like, okay, cool, bro. We're gonna all meet everybody at the Queen's birthday. Let's do it. Then he's just gone. Cool.
And then Agate is back, and we go to, I think, Dorothy?
Before that, Tita leaves, kind of like the party to go to Agate in the hospital room, and then Estelle's confused as why she respects him so much, and Joshua posits that it's like he's like Estelle. They have the tendency to go off half cocked, or like how soft hearted she is. So it's like it's like showing off in like different ways. Like you two are very similar. So it's like it's no wonder why she would still like gravitate towards them, even if it's in a own different way.
Yeah. Less screams in the middle of the woods after being called a bitch. More more gets flustered when incest arrives.
So true.
This
King.
game's whack, dude.
Why are we here? Just to suffer.
Just to scream at Joshua, who is casually chatting you up in the unisex spa. That's why we're here. Chad Joshua. Yeah, then we go and get Agate, right?
Well, we go to the guild for reasons. I don't know. Dorothea comes in here with a developed picture that she comes. That previously it's like, I'm going to go and get some orbital digital stuff to process my thing. And then it's like, and then she shows us the picture and it's like, oh yeah, here's the military base. And then it's like, wait, what's that in the sky? Oh my god, it's the same airship that was at the tower at the military base. Oh my god. And then it's like, well, damn. Estelle and Joshua is like, well, we gotta go investigate this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do.
And we do. And
It's a quick walk. You go up there and you literally knock on the door.
Yeah, well, actually, I
High-tech
totally
military
forgot
base.
there's a force fight, but I forget what that force fight is. It's like with dogs or something.
Yeah, I don't fucking know, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, this was the primary base of the counteroffensive for the war, so that's cool. This is like the place.
It's like the most high-tech fortress. Like, it's got a moat.
Yeah, it's got moat.
Instead of like a drawbridge, it has a giant metal door.
Oh yeah, it has that metal door.
It has a voice speaker system.
Yeah, voice speaker system. When like they come and it's like, who goes there? And then it's the longest pause. It's like, all right, we'll come out.
Yeah.
Pause. and then we meet the
Major Sid.
Major Sid, the person of this place, and we show him the evidence of the ship being near the base, and then it's like, holy shit, how did this happen? It's like,
yeah, he's like, oh my god, what? How could? We're gonna have to take that picture from you.
yeah, and it's like,
we'll
will let the
definitely
army figure.
Look into this.
We'll figure this out, and then it's like, Stella and Joshua's like, are you sure? You sure?
They had their suspicions, and then when he leaves, the door is jammed.
Yeah.
Which originally I didn't understand why Joshua was like, hey, you see that? Oh, that settles it. But now I kind of realize, like, no duh. The fucking Black Orbament's in there.
Yeah, Black Orbament's there. And also Sid says, oh, the phenomena's starting again. And then it's like, And then it comes like, sorry. Let me let my guards out here so no one comes in. Sorry to see us at such a low. Yeah, Russell's 100% here. It's time to go to Kilika. We need a plan. And then the gang's all
like
here.
30-minute scene of just talking with everybody, deliberating over what to do.
Yeah. Well, it's essentially we go into the old man heist plan where we're going to go on like a little ship.
Hold on, should it be like I do heist music and you'll explain it? Ready?
Okay.
It's like what the fuck does heist music sound like? Hey, it's not gonna work.
Oh, go for it.
No, I'm embarrassed. This is a bad idea. Abort.
Abort. Stop the heist music. Stop it.
Record scratches. Everybody's planning the heist, and we're not technically... Okay, here's the plan. We got to get into the military base, but we're not allowed to engage with the military because we're bracers, and we're not allowed to engage with politicians. The military counts as politicians. So what is a bracer to do? Well, there's a loophole. Kalika pulls it out, and she's like, look, we're supposed to help people. That's the big thing. And what's Professor Russell? People. Say it with me now. He's a people. So now we can do it anyway. Which to me, by the way, this is the dumbest. It's like the dumbest loophole ever. Well, we're supposed to do the thing, and we're told not to do the thing under this condition, but we're supposed to do the thing, so we're going to do the thing.
Essentially, Kilko's like, we can't interfere with that Royal Army, but fuck that. We're going to do it anyways.
Yeah. Basically. And she even is straight up like, look, if the army captures you, we literally can't do anything. Like, I'll try and take the fall, but...
Yeah, Kilko's the fall guy.
Yeah. And so everybody's like, oh, this is a great plan. And then Tita's like, well, actually, we have a bioscanner.
Yeah, but before that, during that whole exchange, Estelle has my favorite line in the game. You mean that we can witness a crime, but if it's done by a soldier or politician, we just have to pretend we didn't see anything? Which is my favorite. That's my favorite one in this game.
It really does kind of showcase how fundamentally broken liberal is.
Yeah. It's like, that is 100% true and really funny and really sad.
Back when hierarchy was a thing, said Jill from like the last chapter.
But anyways,
so, yeah.
Keep describing the plan.
Okay, so there's a bioscanner in the factory, right? So if you guys go and sneak in, you're going to get caught by the bioscanner, and we can sneak you in through the airport. But the professor's been working on a thing. And then Tita's like, it's an anti-bioscanner. We just so happen to make the thing, and I'm the only one who knows how to use it. And Agate's like, but you're not coming anyway. And she's like, I think you misunderstood me. I'm the only one who knows how to use it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, fine, but you're doing this my way. You're keeping your chin up. You're going to do this right. And she's like, aye, Captain. And so they're like, okay, that's the plan. And Murdoch's like, I'm also here. And so we go off into crates.
We go off to the dock.
Yep.
And I like the thing that happens, like, it's like, oh man, there's an airship down there. We're gonna have to like jump, I guess, and then like contraption. And it's like,
I love that. There's like two giant holes.
Yeah.
And Estelle's like, I can't even see the airship. Well, I guess we'll leap.
Yeah, and then it's like, man, I feel like I'm so out of wows at this point. It's like, same bro, this dude built everything. It's like, built this whole rail system. I was like, okay.
Yeah, he built a dockyard where you can like slide in a spare ship like you would. Like in real life, this is a thing, by the way. It's called like a water lock. And when you're waiting, a water will come down and there will be like a divider and you'll get placed into like a separate containment unit from the area that you want to go. Like it's revealed. Mm-hmm. But this is done mechanically under the ground, which is infinitely more intense for no fucking reason.
Bro, he just likes cool shit.
I mean, same. Like, I would
same.
100%. Cool. You give a person like me that kind of funding, I would build stupid shit, and it'll be cool, but fundamentally useless. the ship comes up.
Yeah, and then this basically acts as our point of no return. Can no longer go anywhere. Where and it's like, okay, we go on, and a guy that we skipped over because he wasn't really important beforehand. It was like some dude. I didn't bother writing down his name, but he has a portrait. So
He's
like
the chief engineer.
Chief Engineer Gustav. Yes, Gustav. That's the one.
It's Gustav, the chief engineer.
Yeah, he's basically just the one orchestrating. Like it's like here's a container, fit yourselves in. But before, as we leave, Dorothea comes running up to Murdoch because Murdoch sees us off, and then it's like tells him that the guild has tipped her off that some members of the Royal Guardsmen in Grand Seal were arrested for treason. Ooh. It's like, well, whoopsies.
Whoops, accidentally started a global conspiracy. Teehee. Fucking Dorothy. What could have happened? How did this happen? She says, holding the camera that caused this shit show.
Yeah, and our group is none the wiser because we're gone.
Yep, we're off.
That would have been a very funny like chapter end thing. It's like treason, chapter end.
It just shows another like prologue thing with Agate screaming on the ship.
Riviere's just there for some reason. It's like, I'm cool.
Yeah. I mean, he basically was at the end of this chapter, but...
I mean, yes, and I love him for it.
He was... Okay, we'll get there, because it was a great scene.
I love that scene so much.
It's
God,
so
I
dumb.
want to play this game so much again. Oh.
But we're on the ship now.
We're on the
with
ship.
Antoine the cat, Gustave the engineer, pink hair lady that we gave the letter to, and the whole gang, and some random other engineer who I can't remember the name of.
Yeah, and then the group
we're
split
given
up.
time.
Yeah, they get split up.
We're
It's
given
Stella
time
and
to
Joshua.
prepare.
Yeah, they take a breather, and then it's like, man, it feels like a lot of stuff is happening right now. I feel like we're getting wrapped in something bigger than ourselves. Kind of that type of feeling. It's like, man, the army's doing this. This is some global conspiracy levels.
Yeah.
Compared to last thing of like the orphanage burning down.
Yeah,
and then
I love
the evil
it, 'cause,
mayor.
like we
like,
were just talking about like how we slowly have been increasing the temperature, like a frog boiling in water. It's like, okay, so first we start with the farm. It has some bunnies. We need to kill the bunnies, but we don't because they're cute. All right, then we go to the next city and we arrest some pirates who have been kidnapping people. Sure, that's fine. Then we go to the next city where we stop a local political conspiracy where the mayor is trying to get funding from his terrible hedge funds investigations after making a real estate plot with the Duke, who is none the wiser about the scenario, all alongside the one kid who is descendant of the royal family, maybe, who has control partially of the military and is on an escort mission undercover while in a school to fucking... uncovering a plot with the local military that's gonna be trying to overthrow the queen from a homegrown investigation gone awry as we sneak into a military base.
God, that's such a great description of this game. It's so accurate, it's so great.
It really goes off the rails fucking fast.
This game is a slow burn.
I cannot wait to see where we go next. But yeah.
Yeah. I side note, I love this chapter so much. It's like world building,
Favorite
tension. It is by far like, oh my god, I'm invested. And I had to stop for like a month. So I was like crying.
Well, we've got the week. We've got the week. We can probably deal with one chapter in a week.
Oh yeah, definitely. Probably not a podcast recording though.
Maybe, I don't know.
Bro, yeah. This took me like 3 hours today. I don't.
Well, anyway,
And,
Agate at the top says something of interest.
Yeah, Agate.
If you go all the way.
Oh, something separate from like the agate and
You mean Agate's dead sister?
not dead sister. It's not dead. She's not dead.
Dead sister? Yeah, definitely a dead sister. He slapped the shit out of her so hard, broke the sound barrier and her jaw. She is dead. And he feels remorse and guilt. And so, therefore, he was going to repeat the same actions on the child until she asked about it, and she was innocent enough to get through. But he's still planning on absolutely demolishing her fucking jaw. He tried it out earlier. You know, like when you line up a shot in golf? He did that. He's testing out the waters to know the
he's
best
gonna Last
angle.
of Us 2, Tita. 4.
Gonna fucking execute her. Poor child.
But
Yeah,
anyways,
horrible stuff.
they have a cute little conversation between them that like who is Miska or Miska
Misha.
Misha
Miska Muska Mickey Mouse.
Miska I still whatever yeah, she's Agit's little sister and haven't seen her in over a year because he only visits home like once a year. It's like, okay. And it's like, that makes a lot of sense of like why Agate has a lot of strong feelings about why Tita's here. Before I cut you off, you were talking about something like before Agate can say, or was it like the same conversation?
It was just cute that they were like, because if you go up there, Tita, or soon to be second Misha, is fixing Agate's orbiment, and he's just straight up like, I am super impressed with you, child. Also, I could never do this in a million years. No, actually, he didn't say that. He said the opposite. Sorry, I'm dumb. He said something along the lines of, this is what you did? I could have done that on my own. I didn't need you. Yes, that's it. Because he's a dick.
Two different contexts there.
Yeah. But I mean, ultimately, he said the second one. He's a dick.
He's a lovable dick.
Yeah. You always got to have a nice, strong, hard, lovable dick.
Speaking of small spaces,
Speaking of small dicks.
it's time for everybody to go in the small shipping container.
Yep.
It's time to get awkward.
Yep. And of course, Joshua and Estelle are right next to each other. And of course, Estelle makes it weird. And Joshua is like, why are you being weird? Just get over here. I do like the Agate and Tita moment here. I think it's cute.
I think I skipped over this one because it's like they go into a container. That's my thing. But yeah, I mean, their whole dynamic is great.
Yeah, it's literally just like strongman asshole versus innocent child. Mm-hmm. It's really cute because I think Tita goes in first, and then Agate goes in afterwards. And he's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, not that I care or anything."
Baka.
Agate is just
the biggest Cinder. No, he honestly is.
Yeah, 100%.
He's the most like, it's not like I want to do this.
Yeah, it's not like I like you or anything. Baka. So there was an issue in the plan. We were supposed to have 2 groups enter through the shipping container. And so when we landed the ship and everything was played out, the executive officer, whatever, chief engineer, is talking to Corporal Sid or Major Sid. God, I can't speak. Major Sid is talking to the executive chief officer, engineer. Gustav, that's it.
Gustav,
that guy.
Italian, Mamma Mia,
Gustav,
Antonio.
engineer.
I think Antonio is also
Antoine,
yeah. That's
Yeah.
Italian, right? Yeah, there's a bunch of Italian.
Yeah, it's
engineers.
Italian. Yeah. So they go and they do the bioscanning, and it's like, whoa, are they gonna find it? Is this gonna work?
Whoop.
And then boop 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 boop. Oh shit, somebody's caught. We're gonna have to fight our way out of this. And then the shipping container opens, and our secret agent Antoine was caught. Game over.
Game over. It's all over.
It's all over.
It's Joe
all
over.
over. The cat has been found. Repeat. The cat has been found.
It's a good
It's
bit.
all ogre.
And like Gustav did this deliberately. It's like, now that they're off guard, they won't think it's like, someone's actually gonna be in here, so they don't double check.
He said that, but let's be real. He was just fucking with the group.
Oh yeah, no, it was like, I'm gonna get at them. Fuck them.
Yeah, he's like, Antoine, you want to troll these kids? And Antoine's like, yeah. And he's like, damn right you do. Get in the fucking shipping container again.
Some time passes, and then Major Sid is still kind of like by the container area. And one of the soldiers asks is like, sir, how long is the emergency command structure going to last? And it's like, don't question orders. You're a soldier. This is like, don't. We're all in a rough situation here. Just shut up. Essentially.
Yeah. L kid. That's
L
just
kid.
how it is.
And then he says something about, oh yeah, this vixen is here and we got to deal with.
Yeah. I think it's the captain he's referring to.
Yeah, captain, specifically. Meliath, or whatever. Her name is.
Something. Alemiath.
Aluminium.
Yeah, it's Captain Aluminium. So we see him wander off screen, and we hop out the shipping container, and we're like, "Wow, that sucked. Better go find Captain Russell."
Captain Russell.
Apparently,
aye, Captain Russell.
I'm gonna make a bomb. Aye, Captain Russell.
You'd be a great captain.
Here's a pipe bomb. So you have to go in. You can't set off alarms here, but there are dogs wandering around.
There's dogs.
Dogs don't have opposable thumbs, you see, so they can't set off the alarm.
Yeah, they're not loud
Fucking
enough.
Useless dogs.
You know, combat's not loud enough to alert people to your position whatsoever.
Yeah, especially hearing a bunch of dogs who you've trained to bark when enemies come into the base. Barking directly outside, that would never cause a commotion.
No.
And neither would the fucking literal firestorm or hell opening up to breach into this reality and destroy the canines. That also never causes a commotion. So, obviously, being as stealthy as you are when you're dropping fucking bombs and summoning hurricanes, you walk through the field, and then you start being stealthy because... There's two guys guarding the door.
There's two guys guarding the door, and then their plan before this is like, where do we think they kept him? It's like, the laboratory. Obviously.
Oh, yeah. No, it's even better, too, because Agate's like, okay, Estelle, where is Professor Russell?
It's over here.
Estelle's like, maybe the dogs. No, Estelle.
That's our escape plan.
I just love it whenever characters are like, okay, Estelle, can you function?
Yeah, so the whole plan is go in, get out the wharf, and then leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then they head to like the place where the guards are at, and then we go to the side, and then we look into the window, and it's like, yes, he's there. And also, alongside him, it's Colonel Richard.
Yeah, the guy who I claimed was evil, and then you said definitely wasn't, and then I responded later telling you that he was evil and I was correct, and you responded with saying, no, actually, I said that, you didn't say it, so no, fuck you.
I love when I called this in the podcast. It was so
you
great.
You didn't.
I did.
You didn't. It was me.
I knew we were going to get into this conversation. At this point, episode 2 is not out. I posited this theory in episode 2, and then you just kind of like, and then posited like a different theory.
Oh, so was mine better? It's always better mine, obviously.
In episode 2, your theory with Colonel Richard was like, oh yeah, he's like something to do with like Chloe and like arranged marriage. That was like your theory there. It was
yeah.
I was like, what?
I still think it's possible. I like that idea.
Like at the end, it's like maybe, but yeah, this was like when this happened. I was like, I was so ecstatic. I was like, oh my god, I got it. I was like, this was like a moment where I was like, I was on fucking cloud 9.
Do you think he's the Ganondorf?
The Ganondorf?
Like, obviously very canonically I mean, look at him. He's very clearly evil, but the queen is like, oh, he's here to help us solve our problems.
Maybe. Also,
And then it's like Princess Zelda with Chloe, that kind of thing, where it's like the princess is like, well, obviously he's evil. Let's go and deal with him.
so there's a few reasons why I reached that conclusion in episode 2, but that like I retroactively remembered of like it was like one, it was like the look is like is very like authoritarian, and then like at the very end it's like, how did you know that they were here? I was like, yeah, we just knew, I guess. Niall, of course, because he knew exactly the location and then was there, I guess. But another thing was in the very opening, there was two people that I vaguely remembered looking like mischievous or something, and I was like, wait, it's those two. And I was like, those are probably antagonists. And then I was like, oh damn, I was right. Thanks, intro.
Oh shit. Yeah, with the intro, I just kind of zoned out and started chatting with you instead of actually paying attention to it.
Yeah, because I remembered two like antagonist-esque. The way that it was drawn was like very like snarky, and then I was like, I didn't really ever go back to it, but it was like,
Are you? I'm pretty sure our dynamic in real life is just Estelle and Joshua.
well, I have weird, just like, oh yeah, I was right.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, here's a thing based off of absolutely no evidence. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's gay, actually. Alex, what do you think? Oh, God, I don't know. She's a princess, I guess. Wrong. Here's why.
I mean, your theory is not completely out there. I just don't, like, my thing is, like, I don't know if she's directly tied towards the queen, but it's, like, in this chapter, it's, like, it's kind of leaning more towards your kind of thing of like she might be related to the queen, and like
I feel like she's the princess
because like I think after like the log, especially like the prince died in like the oceans, like is that Chloe's father? Is that who died in the ocean? That was like after you posited that theory, I was like I could not unsee like, oh, it's like this is the incident that took her parents, and now she's like estranged somewhere. So like I think that theory holds. I hope that theory's great. So we could both be right on our theories that we posited.
Yes. I mean, Estelle's occasionally correct when I control her, so assumedly I'm also occasionally correct when I control me. Assumedly.
You know, just in a third person. I am now I think of life as a video game.
I am a metaphysical construction of mind and body. I am the puppeteer and the puppet, all in one.
Ooh.
But anyway, yeah, we go say hi to Russell after beating the shit out of the dudes.
Well, there's much more conversation before we go save him.
Yeah, but none of it's really important. You basically go up
no,
and you're like, it's you guys.
No, no, it does. No. Joining him in this conversation is the captain, Ameliath, and Sid. Richard calls the Black Ornament the Gospel, and he's been looking for Cassius for some time. For some reason that we learn like just slightly later, Richard wants Russell to help with the Gospel and to like hone its power, and then Amelia is kind of like, if you don't do it, what will happen to Tita? And it's like, oh, she's the crazy one, I see. Now I guess that's her whole dealio.
Yeah, she's kind of going through a personality swing right now.
Yeah, and then Second Lieutenant Lawrence, the guy that we've been chasing, or Agate's been more chasing, has been like, is here, and is like, everything has fallen into place in Grand Seal, and it's like, heh. And then Richard's like, heh, checkmate. And then it's like, okay, I'll be seeing you now. I gotta go deal with the Grand Seal problem. Yeah, they call themselves rebels, and they're gonna take down the queen, take down the monarchy. Woo! Which is like, I mean, fair, but also
I wonder if there's parallels to the play here.
um
Because in this scenario, the people who are fighting against them, because he's part of the established monarchy in a sense. So it's kind of like a reversing of the play. Because the play was like the common citizens are going to rise up and fight against the monarchy or whatever, and then the monarchy was going to defend its power. But in this scenario, it's like the monarchy formed a conspiracy, and the random citizens are going to protect it. And specifically, like the head of the equivalent, like Merchants Guild or whatever, which is really the engineering guild nowadays. That's kind of an interesting parallel. I wonder if that's actually the case, or if I'm reading into it too much.
no idea.
Well, either way,
now we take down the black robe guards, who are now called Special Ops Soldiers, because they were part of the intelligence division of the military, which is I don't know how nobody in the press. I guess it's just they're secret ops.
they're
I
the
guess
feds.
I guess
They're the feds. They're the liberal feds. Like, you don't know what a federal agent looks like when they're in their full combat gear. So yeah, we beat them up technically with an asterisk.
Yeah, technically, until it's like, you thought you beat us, and now we're gonna set the alarm off, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is like, it makes sense. You kind of did that, but before that, we meet up with the professor, and then it's like, oh well. Before that, before even that, it's like Sid and like Russell have a conversation. It's like, I hope to give. If you do well enough, you could write to Tita, and it's like, Russell's like, fuck off, get out, leave me.
Yeah.
And then it carries that energy into us coming in. It's like, I already told you, and then Tita goes straight to Russell. It's like, Grandpapa,
Papa.
Papa.
Yeah, and then they hug and shit. One thing of note, Agate threatens to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. Well, because like Russell calls him like a chicken head or something like that. I think due to his hair.
Something silly. Yeah.
It's like, I'll beat you up, old man.
And then he's like, I haven't lost to a young whippersnapper yet. Legit. And he's like, I'll fuck you up, kid.
I mean,
it's really good.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, let's stop dilly-dallying. But then it's like, alarm, alarm, alarm. And then the siren keeps going on forever and ever. It's so annoying. But
oh, for sure. One thing to note as well before that, he mentions that because the black ornament was in their grasp and they have data on it, it's likely that they already have the ability to replicate the gospel. Yeah. I got that in my notes when I was going through.
Yeah, and then we get some later on lore of the Orphan after these few scenes, which is interesting.
However, the escape is not interesting. It is so fucking boring.
Yeah, it's basically just kind of like, it was just kind of trial and error until you just kind of found like the door, and then once you found like going to the door, you go through like everything. I checked every door before going to the left and downstairs, which is like,
I tried to leave several times, but their radius as you get, because you're supposed to avoid being caught by guards, and if you engage in a fight with them, you fight them and you win, and you still get sent back to the lab.
Not the lab. It's like the outside kind of like thing.
Yeah, it's like the outside of the lab, but it's in like the lab area, and then you have to start over again. But every single door is locked except for one, and if you go into that area, I went to there's like two areas you can go down, the left and the right, and there's a bunch of doors. All the doors inside this building are locked, and the right door has nothing until you go the left way first, and then you go into a dungeon where you meet some familiar friends. But then you can go back to the right, and the plot continues.
Yeah.
I was so confused for like 20 minutes here, but I eventually got there.
Once
you go down into the left side.
Yeah, once I got through the door, everything just kind of like fell into place. Essentially, it took a while because I kept going through the outskirts. It's like, okay, we gotta go to the wharf. It's like, nope, you don't.
Yep.
But yeah, we go downstairs and then it's like, oh hey, it's here. Here's all the major antagonists we've locked up through through the thing. We got the Sky Pirates. We got Corruption Mayor.
Was he there too?
Yes, he was there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then like some other people, but like the main event is the Sky Pirate meetup,
I
which
will
is
be perfectly
great.
frank. I was really secretly hoping Oliver would be there. I
That
thought that would have been perfect.
that'd be funny, but make no sense. But
It would be so funny though.
it's like I have
Uh,
predicted this somehow. But anyways,
hello. I found even more expensive wine.
I shat in their toilet with the wine.
He didn't even do anything like bad. He was just like, I needed to take a shit and the door was open, so I went into their bathroom and then I was in jail. I'm a war criminal now.
Yay!
Starts singing, oh woe is me, I shat in their toilet. Oh, I love him. But yeah, you talk to the Sky Pirates and they're basically like, get us out. And we're like, why? No. Anyway, bye.
Bye.
And that's the whole conversation.
Yeah, essentially. But my favorite moment of the chapter happens when just Josette and Estelle just kind of like
I love them.
go like do like a double take. It's like, huh? It's like, and then they both unanimously you. It's like it's so great. And then they start talking about ships because it's like, oh yeah, I built ships, and it's like, oh yeah, we built a good ass ship over there. And then it's like, okay, cool, bye, lol. Rot in jail.
Yeah.
Peace out.
I legit thought we were gonna like let them out.
I thought so too. That would have been so great. But
no.
no. Which is fine.
So then you leave.
Then you leave,
Go
and
back
then
up.
once you go out, it's like, they must be in here. And then you hear whispers down the hall. It's like, ooh, come over here. It's safe over here. And then we end up in Sid's office. And turns out Sid's on our side, which I had a feeling
I
because,
wrote
like,
down here Major Sid is not just a double agent, but a double agent. Full Tim's Hortons style. I want to order a regular double agent.
yeah, no, Sid's a great guy. It's like, yeah, I don't approve of all this stuff. He talks about that Colonel Richard has now full control over the army, and the Royal Guardsmen are being reported for treason because of because of the picture. So now the
He
Queen.
also says that if you don't bend the knee, you get arrested or tortured until you bend the knee.
So
you
he's
have
so
no
he's
choice.
kind of forced to like do this in his position. Yeah, and then we also learned that one reason that Richard has control of the entire army now is like Morgan refused, so now he's locked up in jail. So like all the Hacken's Gate forces are now under Richard's command. So it's like, oh boy, and now it's like the Royal Guardsmen are into questions. Like, whoa, this is not good.
Basically, shit's gone down in Crazy Town.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for the monarchy.
No. I think he even mentioned something along the lines of like the Queen kind of just let this happen.
Yeah, which is, I assume, I assume it's due to the ornament control, the mind control thing. Most
Yeah.
likely it has been my thought this entire time, which is most likely what's gonna happen. Is like,
Yeah, I think he has like a special orbiment or whatever, and they've replicated it. So there's like weaker versions, and then there's stronger versions, which would explain like why in the tower there were mind controlled people, and because I think prior the mind control was smaller than that, wasn't it?
I don't know. They don't go into the mind control thing at
Yeah,
all
it was
here.
just the one dude. The one dude was mind controlled, and they were just like, yeah, no, actually, mind control was very rare.
Yeah, it was only
I don't
like,
know why the whole lighthouse was mind controlled.
yeah,
No, actually, because the lieutenant was there. No, that would explain it.
yeah, because Lawrence was there, so
Fucking Lawrence is like the least
I
threatening
know,
name.
right?
It's my arch nemesis, the waxing poet, Lawrence.
And then he has a
It's
secret
Steve
entrance.
from accounting.
Skeet from
Yeah.
accounting. Sid is like, okay, the only way to get out is through the secret entrance. It's time to leave.
And then he's also like, I'm going to get arrested for showing you this, but anyway.
Yeah, it's like I can't do this for citizens. This is like technically against the thing, but like, fuck them.
So you go through, and it's a sewer. Yay.
It's a sewer, but Estelle and Joshua kind of like stay behind and talk to him because he's known his their father because he was a colonel at the time, and then Richard was under their father in the military during the Day War whole shebang.
Yeah, this is when it was revealed that like just how important Cassius was.
It's
Because
like
up to this point, I kind of figured he was like a soldier that just did really well and refused a promotion. But no, he was like a fucking like dude, like in charge.
and did I forget to write this down? No, it's later. It's later that I did write a thing down for later
All right.
that I
I'm
thought was
excited.
during this conversation, but it's not. But we do a little chats there, and it's like, okay, it's time to actually go. We gotta go through the aqueducts, escape via boat. Like, get in, loser. We're doing crimes.
And then you leave to the shore, and basically there's a lot of talking, but it sums up as Agate is going to leave with the professor and Tita to try and evade the military because now they're going to be wanted.
Yeah, because
And
again,
Joshua and Estelle are going to go to Grencel to try and investigate what exactly happened.
yeah. So
They're
like
going to go
again,
to the Grencel branch.
yeah, I get is like the intelligence division knows my face. They know who Russell's obviously, and they know Tita, but they don't know Estelle and Joshua. So Agate's whole idea is like, okay, since Estelle and Joshua are not really known too well in the government, but for like everybody besides like Colonel Richard and like the main brass, so like they don't really are perceived as a threat, so they don't know that they were like here, but like since Russell and
No,
Tita,
it's specifically like Agate is going to purposely take the fall.
no, they're
'cause
hiding.
It's the professor. No. The professor and Tita are going off. They're hiding.
No,
Agate is going to go back into the thing and get arrested. He does like a self-sacrifice play here.
No.
Because Estelle's like, that's bullshit. I should come with you.
No,
Or something
no.
like that. Or like, it should be me.
Agate takes Tita and Agate takes.
Are you sure? Because I swear to God,
No.
there was like a whole point where he said he was going to be.
No, he doesn't take the fall. He just says, "I'm going to take Tita and them, and we're going to lay low." Is the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's not
I guess I
get arrested.
misremembered.
He's not get arrested. That'd be very dumb. But yeah, the whole thing is like,
The next scene we see Agate, he's with Olivert and Charizard in jail. That's how we get our full party. It's just everybody's in jail.
but yeah,
It's like the D&D equivalent of like meeting in a bar.
yeah, meeting in jail, classic. But yeah, since Estelle and Joshua are kind of like they can go undetected and like go speak to the Queen directly, but we can't like. Yeah, I don't know about the Tita whole thing, but I get Agate and like Russell. I don't get the Tita angle, but like, whatever. You need to split up the party.
What else is Tita gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, come with us? Like, I have the feeling she'd be more interested in staying with Russell.
This is where we learn apparently the gospel was stolen from the intelligence division and then was sent to Cassius. And then due to the blackout in town, they found it's like, oh shit, this is where the thing is. So we're going to go grab it. I was like,
Oh, I missed that.
I also missed this. I did not see this till like replays. Like they've had this. They don't know. Agate doesn't know. Like or no, it was specifically Russell. I think says this. Whereas like he doesn't know where like the intelligence divisions got it, but like it wasn't made. It was like they discovered it because it was like a because in chapter
an
one
artifact.
it was an artifact due to like whatever was in the letter, I think, or something speaking about that. But yeah, it was theirs. Someone stole it, presumably Kay, who sent it to at Cassius. Still don't know who Kay is. Still
It's Cassius, his long lost brother,
Cassius.
with a K.
Richards has plans to use the gospel in the capital, so we got no time to waste because that's a bad thing. And then
Yeah, we got to boogie down to Bad Boy Street.
boogie down to Bad Boy Street, and then Estelle and Tita have a kind of like a little emotional goodbye. And it's like, oh, you were great. It was nice to be like play the role of siblings and whatnot.
And then they're gone. And then we go back to the Braces Guild.
Yep. And then chapter end. Except we got 2 post-credit scenes.
Yep.
And the Bracers Guild is
Probably
not in this chapter.
The most impactful one?
Oh yeah, these are like these were like, oh man, I need to keep doing it. Especially since there's like basically just 2 of them. It's like, ooh. So
I remember the Chloe one distinctly. I may need help remembering the other one.
Yeah, the other ones are slightly confusing if you don't like write down notes.
I did. I just stopped before I got to that point because the person who was summarizing it, the YouTube video I was watching, she was starting to describe like what happened in the end chapter.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so I was like, nope, bye.
Bye. Yeah. So the scene starts off of like Schwartz and Chloe getting chased by the army, and Schwartz stays behind like a badass, and it's like, go on to the Grand Seal. I'll hold them off. And it's like,
she's like, I will fence 10 dogs and 3 men.
Yeah, it's like,
I've got this. And literally a frame later, it turns out they went into their helicopter, flew over her, and completely bypassed her.
Well, it's a different place, but like still like the sentiment.
Still really funny.
It's funny, but also it's a cool moment. It's like, I'm glad whoever taught me this sword technique, maybe Cassius or something. It's like,
I don't know. He seems to be God, so.
But anyways, and then Chloe rushes towards the city, but gets interrupted by Colonel Richard and his airship Bagard, and also Lawrence behind her. And it's like, let's have a chat. It's like, I don't know what they're gonna chat about, but like,
marriage. My theory will come true. I'm taking over the kingdom, and a king needs a queen.
Because earlier in the chapter, Chloe was getting like reporting information to like Schwartz as like one part of her thing, or something like that.
Yeah, because she sent it via Sieg.
Yeah, so like she's kind of like an informant for something, so like maybe that's something there. But yeah, that's like, what-oh. And then
the scene ends with her completely surrounded. And then I forgot the second one.
And then we have the final one, establishing shot, Ambrodian embassy. Olivier is looking out.
Oh, fucking this! Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, is looking out. It's like, a storm's a brewing. I can feel it in the air. And then walking into scene is Mueller.
Yep.
And then
another agent,
and he one of his lines is like, I like fucking with you. Or that was earlier on in like the other end chapter. And it's like, I like fucking with this guy. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah. So he's like already grumpy coming into this.
Yeah. And then he's one part of the conversation is like, yeah, all the guilds in the Empire have been attacked, and that's the reason why Cassius was investigating stuff in Bronia. I was like, oh damn, Cassius is not even in here. So it's like, damn, Olivier has just kind of been chasing like a wild goose. It's like he's not even in this country. And it's like, okay, well. And then Mula's like, we're leaving. And it's like, hold on there. Who said about leaving?
And then he flirts with him for like 10 minutes.
And it's like, let's see. I want to see those two young bracers in action. He goes something on about a play or something.
Yeah.
Like actors in a play, and it's like, I love this man. And then
he speaks like Shakespearean to this fucking poor agent. He's just trying to do his
oh
job.
yeah, but then it's like, okay, I'm gonna get serious. Goes on a knee and what's going on, man? Give me the information, man.
Yeah.
Give it to me straight, man.
Yeah. It's like it's time to get serious. And then like bends over like slab style. It's like, yo man, what are we doing here, dude? It's really good. I love this dude.
Love him so much. And
he must be hell to work with.
Yes. And then end chapter. And then the thing that I got shocked about, final chapter. I was like, oh damn,
Yeah.
chapter 4's final chapter. Which makes sense because the prologue was basically chapter 1.
Yeah, they did say there was 5 chapters. I just figured the prologue didn't count. But nope, it's this is the final chapter.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and then I played for the first like 10 minutes and I got yelled at, and so I stopped. But the podcast is done now. So
It is we have been freed.
we've been unlocked.
Man,
Yeah,
this was
so I guess this week, the week before work, I finally get to sit down and complete this game.
this was like, this is a chapter that brought me back. Chapter 2 was like, had me wavering a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Especially how like meandering most of it was. It was like, we go over here, we go over here, we go over here. Like this chapter also does that to extent. It has like some weird stuff, but like overall, it's just so fun. And I think I like learned something about like my taste in media through like chapter 2 and 3. It was like, why do I not like chapter 2, but I like chapter 3? But they're very similar in like, not structure, but like in stuff, because I like character specific stories. And I was like, who needs a plot? But I've learned, no, you even if it's like character focused games, I really need like some driving force to put these characters in. I can't like, or like some compelling like situation. If the situation's just not compelling to me, it's like, I don't care about it. It's like,
yeah, chapter 2 is too slice of life.
and it feels like after like the chapter 1 of like, ooh, intense stuff, ooh, we're fighting sky bandits, oh my god, there's a mole in the military, what's going on? Then it's like, the orphanage, it's burning down.
To be fair, the ending was resolved with the mayor trying to like satisfy his weird like fucking investment scheme failing.
Yeah.
And creating a weird manorial conspiracy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get you.
Mm-hmm.
I think this chapter didn't necessarily pull me into it anymore because I was already locked in.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about just like I've been having some minor like imposter syndrome because the people I'm working with are not who I am. Just a bunch of engineers, and I have to like self-study a bunch of stuff in order to like learn enough about their language to kind of like be able to talk with them, because you know, software engineering has a whole fucking history with that. And this chapter reminded me of just like, you can just enjoy building stuff, and like you don't have to worry about all the governmental legal bullshit. You can just be like, I want to build things, so I'm going to do that. And there's so much like engineering spirit in this chapter that it just kind of like felt very wholesome to me in many ways.
Yeah, and
especially Russell, like he really brought out the whole notion of like, I'm going to build something. Why? Because it's cool. Like,
yeah, and they add like so much like lore to this chapter and like really interesting stuff with like just like how the world works and like how this one company basically or this one factory changed the entire like global economy of like liberal in like 50 years. And it's like that's just cool learning and then just like experiencing and then like ooh, that ties back to Cassius and whatnot that felt very like missing from chapter 2.
I cannot wait to get to Urbonia and just having like fucking tanks, and it'll be going from like, we have a small factory that produces all the orbaments that allow us to like do processes and occasional airships, to the Third Reich. Like, it's like, wow, the factory really stepped up production when you have money and space.
Yep.
Military industrial complex. Every single time we finish a chapter, we've been like, oh, the next one feels like it's leading into something more intense, right? This one feels like it ended with that level of intensity.
Yeah, and
it's kind of neat.
Yeah, it feels like it. We like everything, all the setup.
Like, conclude.
Yeah, like all the like things that the game has set up, kind of like finally paid off in this chapter, and now we're going to get like the full climax of the final one.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
Yes, this is the most excited I've been.
That said, there are 3 chapters, so I am hesitant. Because you brought up, like, oh, well, what if they don't get their senior bracer status in, like, the first or second episode? I don't remember. And I was like, nah, that makes no sense. There's 5 cities. We've gotten our senior bracer recommendation in every single city. We're going to get this. But there's 3, so, like, what if we don't? And it will be, like, a major cock block. What if like everything's just like, nah, and we don't resolve anything and we just put it off for 2 more entire games?
Well, like the whole story arc's gonna end by the 3rd game for this.
No matter what, for sure. But like, I hope to God. No, okay. Here's an interesting idea. What are your predictions for the 2nd game, based off of what we currently know about the 1st game? I think this is a fun.
I feel like
because then we can revisit this later.
I feel like this conversation's better when we finish the 1st chapter because I feel
because it has to be predictive. It has to be predictive.
But I feel like
we have to be wrong.
I know, but like getting like the end of that, it's like predicting like what's the first prologue going to be in this one because it's going to be
because like the big overtures, because like when we started this out, we all knew we were gonna go up to some sort of like empirical something or other, right? Like we were talking from the start, it's the frog in boiling water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if we kind of, now that we've completed the 1st game, where do you go from here? Like we've built up from farm to national issue. The only thing that's really left is international.
I feel like the 3rd game might be international. I think the 2nd game is going to be like the internal like conflict between the special ops and the royalty, and then we're on the royalty side. And it's like we're like the quote unquote rebels now, fighting
maybe.
this like.
So like we're gonna see a war torn. So we're gonna like, okay. So the 1st game is building up to civil war, and then we prevent the civil war from instantly winning. So then it's about like keeping power in the balance of the royal army in the 2nd game. Mm-hmm. And then the 2nd game we win, obviously. And then the 3rd game, international conflict.
Maybe.
To set up maybe for the next game sequence, because that's all about Urbonia and its war. So maybe there's a 2nd war.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait.
I know like some slight stuff about like trails into reverie of stuff, like not even like spoiler stuff, but like just like ideas in it, and it might have like
Yeah.
some of that or something, but yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a whole other set of trails like interludes between
Yep,
In the
there's the whole
Sky
cross
and
spell.
Cold Steel.
Yep, whole cross spell.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
It's a lot of game. You got to eat lots of games.
I mean, we're nearly done the first, and that only took us what 3 months?
2? We started in March.
2? 2? That's not bad. We keep up that rate. Like, we can get this. Oh my god, it'll be half a year for us just to complete these first 3 games.
Yep.
On that note, I think it's best we end it here.
Yeah, let's not think too hardly about the future. That'll only make us. Oh boy, this 10-year-long project.
What have we started?
Where do we go now? Now, where do we go? Well, thanks so much for listening. It's been a good time. If you want to listen to our podcast, you can listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Or if you like the YouTubes, you can do that.
The YouTubes? Wow, I can't. Even?
Yeah. We also have a Twitter.
Not a Twitter. Wow. Where can we find this Twitter?
At the Bracers Guild. Just simply the Bracers Guild. So you get
Is
informed.
it perchance the same fucking title that we have for everything?
I mean, it's so great that I got like the name for like everything, and then I don't have to be the Bracers Guild XX X capital X underscore.
The modern Bracers Guild, the Neo Guild.
Let's not talk about Neo organizations over here.
Anyway, good night, everyone.
Yeah. Bye bye.